Am I good? There we go. What about now? I know I'm laggy. Come on. Yeah, that's what I thought. Ooh, I am kind of skippy, aren't I? Well, I don't really mind being skippy and stuff like that. I can just save it and put some image over it while doing a replay later. Um, main reason I'm skippy is because I'm not on my primary streaming computer, so my old computer is what I'm using right now. Anyway, The Substance is a movie that just came out. I think it was yesterday. And this movie was fucking weird. You see, the trailer makes it seem like it's a movie about a Hollywood star who, as she gets older, begins to take a youth serum to keep herself younger so she can keep her job. And the trailer makes it seem where the conditions of the serum, you have to take it for 7 days to be young, stay off days to stay old to keep the balance. But that's not at all what the fuck happened. Because you see, it to a point, the beginning is exactly like that. Demi Moore is an actress who spends her life in the spotlight until she starts getting too old, and then her manager is like, dump her, she's old, we need someone new. And her doctor's nurse, assistant, whatever the hell he is, ends up giving her a USB drive of a video about what's called The Substance. It is a liquid drug that you phlebotomize into yourselves. The activator is the first thing you take, and what it does is it splits your DNA in two. Like, literally splits it in two, and what happens is her character, I believe her name is Elizabeth Sparkle, and Liz, after she takes the activator, her body begins to multiply on the inside. You can even see it in her eye, split into a separate eye, and then her back. Give me a sec. When it comes to this, okay? First, when she takes activator, okay? When she takes it, body starts to react to it. She is tortured, and then in the eye, where we would normally see the one singular eye, it eventually splits in two, to where a separate eye, as the original, goes to the side. And then it cuts to a scene where we see her back here, and her spine area begins to split open until eventually original body is on the floor here with new body emerging from the split. The new body is brand new. It does not look anything like her when she's younger. And what the What the video from the USB drive says is that you are not separate entities. You are the same entity. Just, it's basically your two sides of your own brain. Your young side that can act upon their own, and then your older side, your original side, which is known as the matrix, that can act on their own. And they're each kit, they get a kit every 7 days. Kit has a food supply for the other self and for the matrix self. For the first week, you set up an IV drip thingy to keep feeding the matrix version while they're unconscious, to make sure that their body can regenerate the youthful flow inside the body, because the other self has to take this big ass syringe thing that has 7 cartridges inside of it that you stick into the spine of the original self and pull out 7 vials worth of youth DNA, whatever, from the original body, which is then injected into the new body every single day, pretty much every 24 hours to stabilize. It's called stabilization. You switch every 7 days, without exception. You stabilize every day. The new body takes it from the old body takes it from the new body while she is unconscious, and it was supposed to revert back and forth. To the dot, you are supposed to switch every 7 days with no exceptions, or else, if one side continues to stay active longer than they're supposed to, then the youth that they draw from the other body, if they continue doing it past their 7 days, the other body will go from being pristine to where every extra bit of time you take from it that you're not supposed to, it basically petrifies and erodes part of the other body, and it cannot be fixed. Once you take it, it is gone. And after the second switch, when the new body, she calls herself Sue, no last name, no origin, no nothing. She wants more time because she spends a week, well, doing her model / acting stuff, and then on the 7th day she comes home late at night with some random dude, and in the midst of them trying to get it on, her body starts to react negatively because she needs to transfer back. But instead, she just keeps pulling from her original body, which is what eventually causes her hand to start petrifying. She calls the substance source, and they say you can't fix anything, just respect the balance. But the other side does not respect the balance because she's an entity on all her own. But she knows what's going on. Convoluted. Well, as time goes on and she gets more and more opportunities, New Year's Eve show, modeling, cover of Vogue, things like that, every day that something new happens, she draws more youth from the original body until the original body is almost a complete monster. Is a complete monster. At which case, she transforms back, realizes what's all happened to her because she turns into a really weird looking. Oh, my All Might pen ran out. I guess you really did run out of all for one, or one for all. Anyway, how do I put it? Like an uglier version of the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And when she sees what's going on, she calls the substance source again, saying it needs to stop. She needs to stop because this keeps happening. But the first time she's given the option to stop, she doesn't because she feels she still needs the extra body. At which case, when she transforms back, I mean, this Sue grabs a shit ton of fucking mason jars and just pulls out every last bit from her original self until the original puncture area is so infected that it's starting to pull pus and not, DNA. And it gets to the point at the end of the movie, at the climax, where she can't keep going, but her original self is dying, but she gives in again and then takes the transfer tubes, pokes one in her, pokes one in the chest of Sue, and then Sue comes alive all her own. So now we've got Sue versus Monster Elizabeth. This is where it gets really fucking weird, because Sue, out of no fucking where, gets superpowers? Like, she kicks the original Sue literally across the goddamn room. Like, they are fighting and fighting and fighting. She is just tearing Elizabeth apart. And this fight scene just drags on so much longer than it needs to, because it goes like Sue could have just ended this fucking part of the movie, just killed off the monster version, and that was it. Could have continued there, and then could have had the body die from not having anything to draw from, and then from there. But instead, they drag it on. They let Monster Elizabeth, take breaks in between getting beaten down, and then lets her slowly drag herself through her apartment, trying to get away from Sue, and Sue just walks behind her to chase her. It doesn't make sense. They could have cut from one part, took that long ass drag in the hallway out, and just skipped to the living room part, and it would have given us taken out an extra 3 minutes of the movie that didn't need to be there. Eventually taken to where they Sue ends up killing Monster Elizabeth. Then she tries to go on with the whole New Year's Eve show thing that they were going on, which all of this takes place in 30 minutes, when she runs out of the fucking studio and then comes back. And she gradually but quickly morphs into the fucking monster thing, and eventually it turns into a Frankenstein's monster shit, where she gets on stage as a fucking deformed monster, and everyone on stage is weirded out but not saying anything. There are naked ass fucking women on this stage, and there are children in the goddamn studio. Who the fuck put that in this movie? Sorry, that was just super fucking inappropriate and did not need to be in there. Anyway, people start attacking Monster Sue, Monster Liz, what the fuck ever at this point. A limb gets ripped off, and then blood starts spewing everywhere, kind of like Carrie, but it's spewing for so long, this body should not have kept going for another 8 goddamn minutes. She starts spewing, she covers the entire fucking theater, both the stage, the people, and the seatings, completely drenched with blood, as she fucking makes her way through and out of the studio, as she's still spewing, going down the road until eventually the body breaks down and she goes and splashes everywhere. Mind you, this whole goddamn time, regular Elizabeth's face from her young self ends up forging in the back of her back here, kind of like how do I put it? I don't know how to explain it. It's like if Majin Buu was able to take the faces of the people he absorbed and then forge them on the back. I mean, there's a Power Ranger villain that did this. It absorbs people and it puts their faces on his body. Kind of like that, but that's the only face that ever shows up, because that's the only face that matters. That eventually, when the Monster Sue finally collapses and the entire body just all over the ground, the only thing that's left over is the face of the young Elizabeth that's able to use the muscular structure behind her face to crawl slowly to her Hollywood star that's on the Walk of Fame and eventually just melts onto her star. Then we get a time lapse into the morning where a street sweeper comes by, cleans up all of the blood as if it was never there, and the movie ends. This took 2.5 hours when it could have been an hour and a half. It's like I'm complaining about Beetlejuice again, but it was fucking weird. Like, the trailer, granted, the trailer's supposed to give you a hint of what the movie's about without actually telling you what the movie's about. But this was so much, this was a huge departure from what the trailer lets you see. It's like, I'm not saying the concept was bad. The concept of the movie was actually pretty okay. But the execution on so much of it and how long it drug out, it was off-putting. And by the time and mind you, like an hour and 20 minutes into this movie, our entire theater, the entire building had a power surge. Everything went off and we had to wait like 10, 15 minutes for the movie to get back on. So we were still there for an extra 15-ish minutes. And when the movie started again, we got back to our place in the movie. We're like, great. We've only got about 20 minutes of this left to go anyway. Oh, fucking no. We had a goddamn hour to go. Oh. Like, seriously, by the end of this movie, I was struggling just to stay to the end. Desi and I were seriously, saying, we should just say, fuck it, go home and wait for New Rockstars to post a breakdown of it so we could watch the ending of it there. Because it almost wasn't worth, no, it actually wasn't worth staying for that extra 15 minutes just to see the end of the movie. It was just, I don't know. It was dumb, weird, and a trip. And not in a fun way. But hey, we didn't really have to go pay to see it. We've got ourselves Regal passes, so. But still, it was a what the hell movie. Like, the second the second Desi and I stepped out of the theater, the first words out of our mouths were literally the exact same tandem. What the hell? So, but that's all I got. I just wanted to complain about it. I just wanted to talk about it. And Monday's Let's Talk About video is going to be about Transformers 1 because we saw that the day before yesterday. I just haven't got the video up for it yet. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry for the lagginess of my stream. I'm sorry if my audio was laggy too. I'll have my new computer back up and about soon, but just bear with me. Okay? Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later.